Every day, we navigate a world powered by massive, invisible infrastructure. We board trains, cross bridges, and work inside skyscrapers, surrounded by immense physical forces, tightly controlled by routine. We rarely stop to think about the mechanics keeping those forces in check. We simply trust the system. We assume the engineers, the regulators, and the experts have done their math correctly to keep these complex operations safe. Natural disasters occur through forces beyond our control. Human-made catastrophes carry a different weight, as the ingredients for the failure are authored by our own choices. History-altering disasters begin with ordinary people making ordinary decisions long before any alarm sound. The absolute belief that the machines will always work and that procedures will always protect us creates the exact psychological environment required for a preventable catastrophe to take root. The starting point for an industrial collapse or a toxic spill is found in rooms completely insulated from the physical machinery. Somewhere, a frontline worker notices a valve running hot. An expert flags a slight deviation in a stress test. A routine report identifies a potential, if unlikely, hazard. This chart shows the friction between safety and operation. As strict deadlines approach, the pressure to maintain production speed and hit aggressive profit targets outweighs the safety metrics on the other side. Faced with those pressures, leadership reviews the flagged hazard. They frame the warning as an acceptable variance, a temporary shortcut to keep the schedule on track. By prioritizing immediate daily numbers over invisible risks, the system establishes the fatal foundation for a systemic collapse. Catastrophe emerges through failure accumulation, the process where hundreds of tiny, rationalized deviations stack together. This layered security model uses defensive barriers. An ignored memo creates a gap. A missed maintenance cycle creates another. To managers, these compromises seem reasonable. They remain unaware their isolated decisions created an aligned path straight through the defenses. The final disaster represents the inevitable mathematical sum of these permitted shortcuts. Down on the operational floor, the result of those compounded shortcuts finally manifests as a physical problem. At first, it looks like a routine issue, a minor mechanical glitch that established procedures should easily handle. But the standard fixes fail completely. The pressure builds, the machinery strains, and the problem rapidly breaks containment. Control rooms descend into chaos. Alarms sound over each other. Technicians shout across the floor, desperately searching screens for answers that simply aren't there. Then comes the fraction of a second where physics takes over. The final barrier fails, and human control over the system vanishes. The minutes spent in physical destruction represent the final execution of leadership choices finalized months or years prior. After the smoke clears, investigators pick through the wreckage to piece together the timeline of failure. They consistently uncover a terrifying reality. Every warning sign, every compromised structural report, and every visible risk had been clearly documented before the event occurred. The people who authorized those risks are rarely the ones standing in the blast radius. The consequences fall on ordinary workers, families, and affected residents who simply trusted those in charge were doing their jobs. Entire towns can be rendered uninhabitable, local economies collapse, and generations carry physical and emotional scars that decades of rebuilding cannot erase. Because the danger was hiding in plain sight, these events stand as clear failures of leadership and moral responsibility. Engineering autopsies provide the data we need to recognize these same patterns forming in modern systems. Somewhere in the world, right now, an expert is raising a valid concern, and a committee is choosing to dismiss it to protect their current routine. Preventing the next failure requires us to scrutinize the systems we rely on, listen to the workers on the floor, and take action before the pressure gauges max out. If we ignore the historical record, the smallest oversight approved today provides the blueprint for tomorrow's catastrophe.